All right, so we can start now. All right. So it's
Okay.
2:15. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Orson. Right. So welcome to our eighth talk of Into the Industry Tech Talk. So to all those people who joined us before, welcome. To all those who just joined us, the first time they just joined this event, welcome also. Today we have a very special guest, a very special speaker, and then I'll tell you why. So before that, I would like to explain about this program, especially to those who just joined this event. Right. So this event program Into the Industry, ITI, this is a program organized by a good friend of mine from the Student Council, Mr. Abdul Hafiz, in collaboration with the Persatuan Mahasiswa Fakulti Komputeran dan Informatik. So the reason why we organize this event, this talk, is to bridge the connection between students and the industry, the tech industry. We noticed that students, especially our peers, our friends, after they graduate or the final year, a lot of us we we only know about the knowledge in in our university, so we don't know much about the outside world. So that is why we organize this event to give an exposure to the students, right? So for this speaker, if you guys notice, our previous talks, seven talk, all the speakers are male, our men. Yeah, it took us until the eighth talk to realize that what aren't we inviting any female speakers? So that's on for the eighth talk. We invite Miss Ivy Fung. Yes, so I will talk about a little bit about background of our speaker. She has a peculiar background. She has a degree in IT and she has a master's in marketing, if I'm not mistaken. Started as a programmer, then she moved to the marketing field in the health industry. Then she also worked as a writer, a trainer. She spent some time in the Philippines. She is also she has also worked as a product analyst, uh, MC, a translator. So she moves around a lot. Compared to our previous speakers, more their roles are more towards there's only like one or two, but our speaker for today, she has a lot of experience in many different kinds of industry. So now she is her own boss. She is self-employed, and she is on a mission to tell everyone about blockchain. So, Miss Ivy, are you ready to share with us your topic for today?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Orson, for the fantastic
Right.
introductions.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
hi, everybody. All right, thank you. I will just take over from here. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. Before I start, let me just quickly go and start my sharing so you will be able to see what I'm going to share. Okay, why I choose this topic first? Let's talk about it. So that why you are here hearing this topic. Career in blockchain. First, let me ask, have you heard of blockchain? Now, if you have not heard of blockchain, have you heard of cryptocurrency or Bitcoin or the NFT that has been like taking the internet by the storm recently? Now, if this cryptocurrency and NFT is so popular and is getting more popular with the blockchain games, what we can see is there will be a lot of job opportunities in this field. So that is the reason that I would like to share with everybody that aside from all those jobs that for those students from the IT field, there is one more segment that you can look into now. Now, since I also have done quite a bit of introduction of me, I just want to add in a little bit over here. For those of you that do not know, I also a Sabahan. I started as a programmer in Dekwan in Tawau. So I feel very happy that, the student from the UMS invite me to speak because I feel very closer to home speaking in this platform. All right, let me just share with you a little bit what I have did for the past year. So for especially in 2019, I have created a syllabus that adopted by some university in the Philippines into their course in the university. So some of the university that I have trained, including just now the University Makati, Asia Pacific College. This is Ateneo, one of the top university in Philippines, and LPU. This is ICCT in Manila as well. And I also did some training in Malaysia as well. This is in Unimas, and recently last year in the Rambutan Coding School. And I do share as well in Clubhouse, like early this year, about a career in blockchain industry, especially for Sabahan. And I'm very happy here today to talk about career in blockchain. Now, why we should consider a career in blockchain? Just give you a little bit of like numbers here. Now, you don't have to take it too seriously about this number. Well, reason being that like it's not that they are not true. It's because this number might not be very close to home. So you think that so what number you get 96K in US for as a blockchain developer, right? Basically, what I'm trying to say here, if you go ahead, to check on the internet, to Google it, blockchain developer usually get a bit higher and or have the chance to get higher salary as compared to the rest. The reason being supply and demand. There isn't that many blockchain developer available, but now it's getting more and more available. Yet there are more projects coming up. So there is still kind of bit of like demand out there. So you can see here is some of the figures comparing what is the salary you can get in Asia, Europe, or as a remote developer, or in the US. Now, all these informations, you can get the update one when you search in the internet. And some of the company here, just want to share with you what kind of company they are looking for the blockchain developer and what kind of job titles they are. Now, even though that I'm talking to the IT faculty over here, there are actually other job related to blockchain industry that might not need you to have a coding background as well. If you see this, a content creator to write about blockchain, which I do a lot. I create content for blockchain. And you can see here, all the locations I mentioned is remote. So it's great that if you're based in Sabah and you can get a job somewhere else, now even paying you USD, when you convert it, even though they pay you according to the standard in Malaysia, usually will be quite good after you convert it to Malaysia ringgit, even though that it pay to the Malaysia pay salary skills. Comparing that you will be able to get the experience working with international company, even if you are basing in Sabah, I think that is a fantastic opportunity. Now, looking in something closer to home, the average salary is about 6,000. I think it's not a bad deal, right? And even if you think that blockchain developer salary is about the same as other developer, but at least in the short run, I don't see it run out of opportunity because the job openings for blockchain developer is increasing recent years. If you're talking about a few years back in 2017, right, it's almost non-existent. I have people keep on coming back to me, Ivy, can you introduce a blockchain developer to me and all as well? That is the reason it prompted me to create the course for the university as well. Now, enough of the figures. People have been coming back and telling me that blockchain is so difficult to learn. It know what to do with all those using the wallet and the peer-to-peer network and also the But actually, blockchain is not that difficult if you think about creating a games. It involves graphic, it involves sound, it involves the game story, and all these things. But you don't have to do it alone. Everybody take a part of it. This is the same thing can go into developing a blockchain or a blockchain applications. So if you chop it down and put it into a different perspective or put it into different department, it's actually not that difficult to tackle. Now, just want to share with you, when people talk about blockchain developers, it usually involves two different categories of developers. First, the core developers, where they take care of the protocols of the blockchain, which how the informations are being shared, how the consensus is being achieved, how the cryptography is applied in where and which standard to use, and all these kind of things are being taken care by the core developer. And they do the network architect, how uh, the whole structure of this blockchain is designed to get the most efficient and effective blockchain. Security is very important. And what we're talking about that, blockchain is immutable and all the information you save in the blockchain is, it will be there all the time. So security gives that kind of promise. And data structures, how it's being kept, how the data is being retrieved quickly. Now, generally, when you hear about this, right, core developer is kind of like the person to conceptualize that blockchain, how it want to work, how it different than the rest of the blockchain. So you can also think of like core developer as the creator of a programming language. And then there is the app developer, where the developer you can think of like the person, for example, Guido is the person who create the Python language, programming language, and you use Python to create applications. So there's the app developer. So the app developer, usually you need to know about smart contract. And I bet some of you might have heard of smart contract. So smart contract is basically just code that will execute itself when a certain criteria is met. And including as well as the front-end developer who did and the developer who did the explorer and the wallet for people who use the blockchain. So this is two major different groups of the developer when we come to talk about blockchain developer. Now, if you want to be a blockchain developer, what you need to learn. So if you want to be aspire to become a core developer in blockchain to build the next blockchain, a few things. There's many more of these three items over here, but I do think these three items is the most important one. Understand the peer-to-peer networking and understand the data, different type of data structures and how to efficiently use it for retrieval and storage. And cryptography. Cryptography is very important in terms of a blockchain. And if you want to be an app developer, and these are most of the blockchain developers belong to, because if you're a core developer, usually you are like the CTO of that project. And most of the time, you are the founder of that project because you conceptualize a new blockchain and all this, right? And app developer is like, for example, I want to create a blockchain game. It's called Axie Infinity. You are part of the team that developed this program. And to do that, you need to learn program like Solidity. Solidity is the programming language that used on Ethereum. Now, other blockchain might have other way of constructing their smart contract. The Solidity so far is the most common one. And understand about UI UX, having a very easy to use, intuitive applications is very important for people to be able to want to use your applications. And other programming language that you might need, like if you want to build something on the front end, you might need to understand HTML or or other mobile app applications or programming language that you need to build a mobile apps if you are building it on a mobile. And one thing very important, no matter of which niche of those that I have mentioned, whether you want to focus on the data structure, you want to focus on the cryptography, one thing I find that the best and put you on a better position is the understanding of blockchain, how to put all these things together. You might not be the person who actually work on it, but understanding how blockchain works, what it is for, then only you'll be able to build something that is more efficient and more effective. And now, some of the company, because that is lacking of a blockchain developer, they're willing to hire people that do not have experience or do not understand blockchain. They're willing to train you. So they might hire you for your experience in building a web app, for your experience in building a mobile applications. Now, you don't have to understand about the blockchain. The CTO is going to tell you what to do about it. But if you do, you'll be able to build something that is better, that gives the user a better experience because you understand what is important, what is less important, and what the user would need. And that gives you the cutting edge, like the competitive advantage over other candidates. Now you think that I do not want to go back to become a developer. I don't want to code no more. There are many other things that you can do as well. For example, developer relations. Now, what developer relations do is you are the person who promote the technology. You kind of help the developer to develop to understand the technology, and also need the project manager to kind of handle to make sure the project go according to timeline and whatever resources are being gathered for the project to go on. And you need trainers like me as well, and community manager to manage the community, to let them understand, to answer the questions from the community, what the project is about, and probably consultants. So no worry. So if you are here today and you are not from the IT department or the com science department, there are many opportunity for you in this field as well. So here is just some of the information to show you that even if development take up a big percentage of it, customer support, sales and design and marketing do need a lot of resources, human resources as well in blockchain industry. Now, let's talking about how is it like working in blockchain industry. Now, first, it is quite demanding. The reason being that blockchain technology change very fast. If for the technology or the blockchain they're looking into in about half a year or 6 months, there's nothing really changed. There's nothing that you knew that you propose. It's kind of like people start forgetting about it. People will think that how come there is no improvement from it, and there will be something new or new project coming up in the industry. If you do not follow fast enough, it very quick will go out of date. And sometimes it could be long hours, especially you are chasing after the launching of your project. It could be long hours and a lot of learning, and you need to be competitive. But of course, there will be a fun side of it also. Even though that with all this demanding nature of the work, blockchain developer have a high demand in the market still as of now. For all these years that I've been in this field, for about 4 years working in this field, I haven't seen the demand going down. It's only getting more and more. And you're always at the forefront of the technology. And it's not only talking about, blockchain itself, talking about blockchain gaming that kind of get popular recently as well. You kind of need to know about other technology also. For example, that Unity is used for gaming or other thing, and how to get those data and to integrate with blockchain, IoT and such. So even though you are not working really into those industry, you kind of need to know a bit of those industry if you really want to be like good in blockchain. And it's very exciting industry. I mean, it's like if you don't if you haven't feel my excitement talking about the industry yet, I'm just telling you that like, it's a very exciting industry that you learn a lot of things. And the concept of blockchain itself already blow a lot of people's mind that I know how could these things happen in this way, but it's happening, right? And because a lot of this job in blockchain industry is remote, so the working hour is flexible, and usually you work with a global team. So like things like Zoom, Meet, Google Meet, and all these things is what we have been using way before the MCO. And where you can get all this kind of job, normal job listing site, go to the blockchain company website. Usually they would mention if they're hiring, attend conferences, and join chat groups. And who can introduce you to this jobs? No, other blockchain developer, talk to them, talk to the recruiters, or talk to advocates like me. And if you want more information, I regularly share information about blockchain, especially on my YouTube channel. And I talk about what is blockchain, what is NFT, and you can just follow that. My Instagram, LinkedIn. And if there is any event going on, I will put it on my link tree. So you don't have to worry that like know where to get my YouTube and everything. Just go to Linktree, you'll get everything and be able to connect with me. Now that is my short sharing over here, and over to you, Austin. All right, Austin, I cannot hear you. I think you are mute, and I think I will stop sharing here.
Sorry, I forgot
So
that
I
I.
was okay. I'll stop sharing here, right? Okay, cool.
All right. Okay. So can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Thank you, Miss Ivy, for the wonderful sharing. Okay, so now is the Q&A session. So while we wait for the participants to, send their questions in the chat box, so I will ask a few questions from my side lah. All right. So I know that you cannot talk about blockchain because if you want to talk about blockchain, it will take about 1 or 2 hours. So yeah. So I just want to know companies why do they want blockchain? Like, because if you look at AI, because AI you can use it for self-driving cars, you can use it for automation, and then if you as a web developer you can make websites. But why blockchain? What makes it uh, special that companies want blockchain developers?
Thank you very much, Austin. It's a very good questions, and I can talk about blockchain, and it just a very quick one. The gist of it is blockchain generally makes all the informations transparent and immutable. It means that you cannot change any information that you save on the blockchain. And because of that, it gives trust between parties. Now, what that it means, let me give you an example. Like when I send some money, if I want to send some money over to somebody else, for example, in the UK, I need to go to the bank. That person need to have an account, and I need to go do the kitty and wait for a few days, right? And then pay some fees and wait for the clearing house in between to do the clearing to make sure I have the money and to make sure I send to the right person. And sometimes, right, if the money is the amount is too big, right, they also wanted that like if that is like legal or not. That's fine. But what the thing is, the fee usually quite high, and also that like take quite a number of days. But for blockchain, it allows you to send the money, which in terms of cryptocurrency, from you to the other person, almost in an instantaneous way, like in few minutes, or even if you want to wait for confirmations, in an hour, it's transferred. The fee is much lower and much faster. And you don't have to wait for any other authority in between to do that. Now, what that means? That means quick actions. Things can be done very quickly. Secondly, you do not need intermediary. Thirdly, the trust. Now, as a company, I think a lot of company do face this issue. The information is not transparent from one party to the other party, or even to the users. And the users sometimes I think that yeah, actually, right, all those administrations fee, right, being charged actually is for what?
Mhm.
But blockchain kind of make all these things transparent. And because of that, right, it's not only that you because of the fee is being lowered, right, it's less efficient. No, the fee is being lowered, but it's also more efficient. So in that sense, right, it helps the company to put their efficiency and productions. Of course, this is only one applications in terms of financial, and especially in supply chain. Blockchain is a very good use case as well, because basically blockchain track everything that is recorded on it. So by nature, it is a good supply chain applications already. You just need to make it uh, useful to your company situations. So I hope I answer your questions that why company would want to use the blockchain.
Okay,
So
I can relate. Yeah, I can relate to that because last time I used PayPal, so I transfer in USD to my local bank. Then the processing fee was, I think, about 15 ringgit, and it took like almost 1 week. So for blockchain, it will only take about few minutes to, and the maybe the processing fee or the fees will be much lower than that, right?
it
So
depends on the fee is rate depends on how congested and how busy is the network. It's not fixed. But if you're transferring big amount, it's definitely lower.
hmm. All right, thank you for that. So I've got questions already. Questions in my WhatsApp. All right, so let's see. All right, so here one. So everything got their own pros and cons, and you talk a lot about the advantages of blockchain. What are the disadvantages, the cons of blockchain? Can you share some?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's not perfect. I going to use the same example of transferring money, so that the contrast is there. Now think about it. It is not for every applications of transferring money, right? Says now I'm going to 7-Eleven. I just want to buy an ice cream. So if I pay using a cryptocurrency, which is through the blockchain, and I have to wait a few minutes for it to get done, because that is the mechanism of how the blockchain record all these things, right? That would be too long, right? And if I
Yeah.
pay cash, there is no charges. And if I pay with cryptocurrency, there will be still charges. So in situation like this, where everything, you don't need to have an intermediary for your transactions. Like I can just pay the cashier. I don't need a third party to do the clearing to make sure, oh, this money is true. I can use it. I don't need the third party. So there's no point for me to use the blockchain in these situations, because that is kind of like a counter effectiveness rather than being effective already. So when you have uh, when there is no need to get rid of the intermediary, and there is no need for you to have trust between the two-person, because by nature is that you don't need to use a blockchain. And the blockchain, one thing about it is also, now with the blockchain, it gives you the authority to manage your funds, because you do not have to trust the third party to do the clearing for you. So with that privilege, there are responsibility as well. You need to make sure that you send the right amount to the right person, because anything's done is not reversible. You cannot say that, like, you go to the bank and tell the bank saying that, like, oh, I sent it wrongly to the other person. Can you help me to reverse back? There's no way to it. So that is, um, when they say, when you have the privilege, you have the responsibility. So you need to take care of your own account to make sure you do the right thing.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. So it depends. Like if you buy ice cream, if you buy ice cream, you don't need to use. It's a bit overkill.
Yes, it's overkill.
All right. So let's see. What do we have here? Okay. So this one. Where can I start learning blockchain? The flow. Do I need to start from a certain language or any tech? Do I need to start learning?
Ah, all right. It depends on what you want to do, because I hear two things over here, right?
Yeah.
First, you say where you start to learn about blockchain, and second, you ask about what programming language you want to learn. Now, there's two things over here. What language you need to learn? Basically, it depends on what you want to do. Like earlier, I share, if you're being a app developer, you could be developing on the front end, and most of the time people refer to blockchain developer is referring to the people who are creating or coding the smart contract. So you need to learn either Solidity, Viper, or any other language for other blockchain. Even though I put, like, front end or whatever under the other second group, because it's in a project, it's more than just creating the smart contract. Even though blockchain developer generally refer to people who code the smart contract. So it depends on which area you want to go. So you can still learn, how to build a web app or build a mobile app, but learn about how blockchain works as complementary to what you have already learned to get into a blockchain project or company. And even if you don't, those kind of skills you will still be able to use it in other industry. And how to start to learn about blockchain? There are many out there, but of course you can follow my YouTube or other places where I start to talk about the very basic of blockchain. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Then it reminds me of slide just now. The core developers. The 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 topics were protocols, network security, data structure, uh, cryptography, and it reminds me of network engineering. It's what they study because from what I know, what I assume, the network engineers they work at telecommunications company like Celcom, Maxis, and I was surprised when I see that it's very the subjects or the fields very similar. So for all those network engineers, you can also go into blockchain. Not only you don't have to work in a Celcom or communication company like that.
Yeah,
All right.
because a blockchain generally is network. It's
Mm.
just that, like, the way, like, for telecommunication, there is always the center, right, that displays all the information. You have to go to, like, the center. But blockchain is peer to peer. It's just different way of the network, how the network works. Yeah, it's just like, other language that I mentioned the front end, right? It's applicable in blockchain. All you need is just understand how it works. That difference that blockchain makes. Right, you're right.
All right. So yeah, for all the viewers, if you just to let you know, you guys can just put your questions in the chat box, and the committee members will send it to me. It's okay. All right. So let's see another one. How do you rate the difficulty level of learning blockchain from 1 to 10, the scale?
um 3 years ago I will read, like, 10, but nowadays I will bring it down probably to just like 5 or even lower.
Oh,
Reason being is there are many informations out there, sometimes maybe too many that like you don't know where to start. But but because there are a lot out there, at least you have choice to do that. So, and one more thing I think is quite important is there are a lot more project out there. Sometimes, right, it's just like you are learning about AI, for example. If I just give you like a book talking about what is AI, it's difficult to kind of understand that, like, how by a bunch of data and then you just go through a repetitive word and then there will be outcome that, like, the machine can do something. It's difficult to kind of like take in. But when there is a lot of like project out there, you see the outcome, then you understand, oh, okay, that is what it can do. Then you can start to understand it better, like, what is AI. The same thing out here now, because there's a lot more project about blockchain. It's easier for people to understand that I know what blockchain can do because they see it with their eye already, or they even can experience it, how it works, what is the outcome. So it makes the learning a lot more easier than before. So I would say that, like, maybe 5 and even lower, I would think. Yeah.
So with the a lot of courses of I think blockchain on the internet and for free, a lot of free resources online. Okay, so three more came in. Okay, so what can you predict the uh, the future of blockchain, future of
Uh,
in Malaysia, in the
in Malaysia,
I
good
think you can talk in
question.
Malaysia and in the world, yeah.
Okay. I think it would be quite exciting, even though there are a lot of people never actually heard about blockchain for Malaysian. I mean, it's like I talk to my friends around me that, like, not many of them respond to me. They're like, oh yeah, I heard of it. There are not many of that of those. Even though I talk about Bitcoin, and not many that like say, oh, I heard about it. But surprisingly, a lot of project is actually starting from Malaysia, and also quite a number of good talents are actually from Malaysia. It's just that, like, because you're working on an international project, you don't really feel it. And a lot of company or even the government or the banks in Malaysia are actually looking into blockchain solutions. So I definitely think that it is positive for the development of blockchain industry in Malaysia. You just need to explore it. Now that, like, you heard of blockchain, probably the next thing when you go online, right, you open your eye and see blockchain everywhere already. Yeah, I
Mhm.
definitely do think that it will be uh, uh, getting more popular in Malaysia. Yeah.
Mhm. All right, so let's see. Oh, what kind of apps uses blockchain technology, and what does the apps do?
Well, the general applications, apps that are available definitely would be the wallet for different blockchains, so that, like, you can send the cryptocurrency from one person to the other person without coding it. You can just press a few buttons and then you'll be able to do that. That is kind of like, the first thing they need in any blockchain. And other blockchain, okay, if some of you might have heard of HRDF, which is a training by the Human Resource
Yeah.
Ministry. Now it's called the HRDC corporations. They actually put the trainer that have went through their training, the certificates in the blockchain. So one of the way of using blockchain is put the certificates on the blockchain, because all the information is immutable and is verified there. And other things that, like, you can use is, for example, in gaming, CryptoKitty and Axie Infinities are the uh, popular games that, like, or like Decentraland, where you can buy the virtual land on the blockchain. So those are the applications that uh, the example of blockchain. Yeah.
Okay, so another one. So can you? I think can answer a few more, right? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So, are there any connection between web development and blockchain in some, yeah, web development
Um,
and blockchain?
yes, thank you, definitely. First, uh, to promote a blockchain, they do have their own website. If you consider that one is a related um, kind of, because they anyhow that is the best the most effective way for you to reach out to great audience, right? Other than through the community, and then all the if you heard of like the blockchain explorer, where for example of Bitcoin, right, you can go to a website where they list all those transactions that ever happened in the Bitcoin network. So those kind of things, right, need a web development as well, where you'll be able to read all the information from the blockchain and display it on the website. And there could be any other applications, blockchain applications that they think they prefer to make it a web app. So it has actually, when blockchain being used in any of those applications, sometimes you don't even know that you're using blockchain. It's just like you're using internet sometimes, right? Some of the applications you use, right, you might not need an internet connection. Some need. And sometimes you don't even know that you're using the applications which have constant connections to the internet until your internet doesn't work. So a blockchain, when it comes to that kind of stage, you kind of do not know that you're using blockchain when you're using applications. So yes, in that sense, right, web development definitely have something to do with blockchain, because that is where the user and the blockchain have the connections. Yeah.
Hmm. So blockchain can not only use it in website, can use it in web, in apps also. So it's used in almost all
Yeah.
area. You can use blockchain. And
You can use
okay,
it in anything. It's just like the example that I use, like 7-Eleven example.
yeah, yeah.
You can use it in anything, but the thing is whether you need it, is it overkill, and whether you need it or not. That is the question to be asked. It's not that whether you can
Mhm,
use it or not. As long as there is some record for you to record,
mhm.
you can use a blockchain.
I like how you smile every time. The questions are given to you. It means that you're excited. You talk blockchain
I
for about
am.
4 years and you are still excited, still
Yeah.
enthusiasm is still there. I can feel the
Yes.
energy from there. Okay, so I think this is the last one. Okay, so let me try to read. How much does cryptocurrency have similarities from blockchain, or are they the same? Uh,
Oh,
I think the relation between cryptocurrency and blockchain, are they the same or how? Ah,
oh,
okay. That's a
that
good one.
is a good question. That's a good question. This is the when I train about blockchain, that is kind of like the first thing I talk about. But because today is not talk about the blockchain per se, that's why I never actually mentioned about it. But good question that you bring up, because blockchain is the technology that cryptocurrency use. Now think about like cryptocurrency as the email, and internet is something that's supporting it. Without the internet, you won't be able to send an email. So that is the relationship between cryptocurrency and the blockchain. And because when you send a snail mail, where you actually write the letter, you have to go and mail through the post office, and the post office have to send it for you. So the post office is like the intermediary, the third party over here. When you send the email, you don't go through a virtual post office. You don't. You send directly, and then the protocol helps you to know to find where
Yeah.
is the receiver and deliver it. It's the same thing like the blockchain. You don't go through the bank or clearings house anymore, and the protocol help you to find who is the receiver and send it to you. So whatever you send is like the email. The cryptocurrency is like the email, and the blockchain is like the internet. So I hope that is like give you a clear idea about what is the difference between the cryptocurrency and the blockchain. Yeah, like not difference, the relationship between them. Yeah.
Okay. So you can see blockchain is a big, let's say it's a big circle, and then the small circle is the cryptocurrency, last like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
One
So,
of the application.
mm-mm.
Yeah.
All right. So I know that some people, maybe you guys are still unfamiliar with the terms used by Miss Ivy about blockchain, but never mind, because if you go to her YouTube channel, just type Ivy Fong blockchain, and then she will appear up top. And in her channel, she talk, I think, all about blockchain, almost all,
Yes.
almost all. And then I saw a video about the introduction to blockchain, and she talked about the NFT, or non-fungible tokens. So if you are interested to learn more about blockchain, please do visit the channel, subscribe the channel. Okay, so yeah, so also those who haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because we have, I think we have another four more exciting talks, four more speakers from different industry. So before that, let me confirm with my members. Everything okay, right? All right. So I think we can end already. So it's 3 o'clock. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Miss Ivy.
Thank you.
Before that, uh, for the UMS students, please, for everyone, sorry, for everyone, please fill in the feedback form. I think the committee members already posted in the chat. So this is to improve our to let us know about what you think of this event and what we can improve upon, right? So that's all right. No more. Okay, so I think we can end already. Thank you so much, Miss Ivy. Thank you for all the members. Thank you for everyone who joined and support this event. Right. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you for having me.
Oh,